Okay, are we going? Yes, we are streaming. All right, welcome. I haven't made a video in a while, and I really need to. So, what we're gonna be doing today is coding insane style, as the title depicts, and we're using Helix here. Which, look, I mean, I'm a little bit embarrassed to say, but I've spent too many hours this week going, oh, should I use Zed? Should I use fucking NeoVim? Should I use this? And I mean, I really like Zed as a code editor, but Helix, the actual app itself, is nice because you get all the keyboard shortcuts. If you're not familiar with this, with what this is, you'll see as I kind of use it. It's just like kind of, you've heard of Vim, obviously. It's just like very much like Vim, but a little more intuitive. And Vim, the ecosystem is, some would say it's great, but I would say it gives you a paradox of choice where you just end up like not making any decision because you have too many choices. And so, yeah, we're gonna use Helix here, and we have quite. Actually, it's not super complicated what we're doing today, but it is a little bit tricky. And I'll try to break down exactly what that is. Let me just connect my AirPods here, and make sure we're on the right audio. How the hell do I see my audio input? Oh my god. This should be like, oh, okay, mic properties. No. Main. All right, whatever. It looks like you can hear me, so I think it's probably fine. And then I'm just going to move this over so that I can see if anyone ever joins in. But really, I was like, I decided to stream because usually in the evenings I'm not very productive at all, and so I just wanted to try to have a little bit more productivity. I thought that if I was actually working on something instead of just or if I was streaming, then it would give me a little bit more accountability, because usually in the evenings, I'm tired. I spent all day working, and I just want to like watch YouTube and fuck around. But yeah, I think, anyways, we're gonna code. So I will try to share a little bit about what the problem we're trying to solve here is, and that is, damn it, focus. Wait a second. So if I go here, then I go back to my. Oh, for God's sake. Do I have to click? Why? Can I not just put this here and then I can go like that? Okay, perfect. So this is our tables. We're building custom tables for the app right now. And if you don't know what Streamlined is, it's an analytics tool where basically we can see all of our business data in one place. So it plugs into a popular CRM called HighLevel. You should be able to see it. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So it plugs into popular CRM called HighLevel, and it basically gives us all of our data, like what speed to lead is and how many leads we're getting in touch with, and a bunch of fun stuff. But for tables, these are like really bad. These are really broken. So if I just go to like, I think the only one we can't open is this testing. Oh God, which dashboard? Tables V2. Because this one, yeah, this will probably cause my dashboard on the live version to crash because the config is incorrect. But here, basically, like, these tables are just so dog shit because all we have is like columns that you can kind of turn on and off. But I vibe coded this like column kind of picker, and it's broken. Like, it says 8 columns are shown, which actually that might be correct. But yeah, like, I don't know. When you just move stuff around, it's totally broken. It's like dog shit. And then so we're going to be swapping it out and making all of this stuff fully customizable, but that is a really big challenge because it means, I mean, let's get into a little bit of the code. And some of this stuff is like very kind of deep state management. So by the way, I'm going to press leader, which is space, and then capital E, and this opens up the file picker in my current directory, which is really nice on Helix. You can't technically do this in NeoVim. Of course, you could do anything in NeoVim, but you're going to be fucking sitting there for 8 hours trying to configure it. So anyways, if we go to our, where is it? Interfaces, whatever. I'm just going to go search files and then tables. And in this table, we have an editor here, and this is the most fucked up shit you're ever going to see in your life. So this is a recursive component. So this is like the first time I've ever used recursion in coding, and I literally like went to fucking school for, you know, computer science. I dropped out, by the way, but this is actually where it goes, because we have this like query builder, and so we can build like groups, and we can say like any or all. This is basically and or, but I think it's a little bit more clear if we use any or all. And so you can use these, and then basically it recursively renders itself within itself. So under the filter graph editor, so this is a graph, I do GD to go to the definition here. And then you can see basically what we're returning is this whole node view. And we also stringify this down here just so I can see what the state looks like. And then this component, it basically takes the whole graph. It also takes its ID and then a dispatch, which I'll talk about. And then it renders, basically, if this is a parent, then it has like a where condition. It says where, otherwise it says like the kind of operator up here of the parent. And then this renders itself. So you can see we're rendering node view inside node view, which is crazy. Like, it's actually really sick. And I had Claude just vibe code this because I was like, I don't even know how to get started. And Claude gave me a really, really good starting point. But yeah, so then what we do is we have this reducer, which is, where the fuck do we even have? So we're passing in the dispatch there. Oh, I see. And then the dispatch is up here. So that's, you go Control O to go basically up, like back. And I can do Control U to just scroll up in jumps. And so what we have here is basically, it's kind of like use state, but you do const state. So the first element in the array is state, is the state of the thing that you're editing. And then you also have dispatch. And so this is basically like, if you look at a use state variable, you have, actually, let me zoom in a bit so it's a little easier to see. So we have this one, which is basically the current state. And then we have this variable, which is actually a function which you call to set the state of this. And so in this case, we have the state, which is the state of the object that we're editing, like the entire object. And then we also have dispatch, which basically tells us, like, you know, basically is the function that we pass operators into. But this is really interesting because we're using this thing called immer. And with immer, what we're doing is you pass it. Firstly, it's kind of like use state because you pass in the initial state here, right, at the end. But then you also pass this thing called a reducer. And if we go to the definition of this, what we'll see is that this reducer basically, and this is, where do we have it? We have up here, we have our types. So these are the actions that you can call the reducer with. And so you would say, this is an edit row action, and then you can pass in different actions. Like, you could basically pass in your own, like, objects that you want to use to edit things. And then the reducer just goes and edits it. And the nicest thing about it is, if we look at some code, like, I think I can go, yeah, if I go back here, we have this, and then, what did I do? Oh, I moved it out. It's going to be in here, and editor, and then we might do, like, or builder, yeah, so like here. So in this case, we're passing in basically the item state, and then anytime we want to update this state, like, this is the most fucked up code you will ever see in your life, because basically, like, okay, let me try to even understand what's going on here. What the fuck, dude? I want to see somewhere where we're actually like, yeah, so we have handle. Okay, this isn't the most cursed code ever. Somewhere we have basically like somewhere that we're gonna handle an update, and it's like so cursed. So like, okay, that's not that cursed. No, so it'll be aggregation, filters. Were we just in this one? Oh yeah, on select here. So this is what's really cursed about not using Immer, is that here we have an on select, and when we use this on select, first we have to grab the config for this item, and then, dude, like, I don't know, this is just not very readable code. But then we set the initial state of the thing that we're trying to edit, and we spread in the value configs, and then, what is this? Oh, nice, dude. Top fan. But yeah, so we spread in the entire like value config, like the existing, and then we have to spread in for this value key. We spread in this value key, everything that's already there, and then we go and set the filters manually and spread in the existing filters, and then we also spread in, and then we add in like whatever they selected, which is just like so fucked up. So basically, whenever you're mutating state, you have to have like this whole ass giant piece of code just to do it. Whereas if we go back to our reducer here, all we have to do is, instead of like literally like spreading in the entire action, because you can see this draft is of table item, and type table item is, what even is it? So it's table item is item. So if we go to item, it has an ID, a title, a description with rank, and then a config, which looks like this. And so instead of having to basically like spread the whole object and then update one field, we can literally just set draft.title equals this, draft.description equals this, and then yeah, it just makes it like so much simpler. So that's basically how you would use a reducer. And what I'm trying to figure out now is basically how we're going to use a reducer for our custom table or custom column. So I think, yeah, so what we need to do is basically figure out how to do that. So if we go back to our, where is it? Columns, and then, so we have this dialog where we'll be able to create basically our column. So like this. So if we go here and if I click this add column button, we can create a new column. So we can put in a title and a description. And we should also be able to choose what type of column we want to add here. But the tricky part is, I think we want to have this element also just house the entire config for each type of column. Because if I show you, like, we have these types of columns. So we have like action buttons, analysis results, attributes, custom metrics, detail cards, and plain text. And so all these things need their own config, but we could probably have like a editor kind of element within here that would then just be dropped into the create modal depending on what the user selects as the type. I think that kind of would make sense. Yeah, because then otherwise, if you made them, I don't know, because the other way to do it, I think, is just to have like a title, a description, and then a type. And then you hit save. But now we need to render some kind of like incomplete column thing. I mean, we'll probably have that anyways. But like incomplete column, and then they would have to click on the column again to edit it, like this settings button here. So probably what we'll do is we'll just have it all use this same kind of modal. In which case we should actually rename this file, because I think this should be our yeah, so this is create column. But we'd probably actually have it be, I don't know, this would basically be like column, like edit column, and then our trigger would just change, because right now it's this button that says plus column, but then you also want to be able to pass in like a custom one. So probably what we would do is we would just say, we would have a, so we'll have like this table here, right? And then we'll probably do, so we'll pass in the table as a whole, because that's going to be our state. That's what we have to send to the database, because all the columns are stored on the same row in a JSON-B column. So we'll have table, and then we'll also probably have column ID, and I use snake case, suck it. Column ID, which is going to be an optional parameter, because string or undefined, because basically like if the user is creating a column, then there's not going to be a column ID already. And then the other thing we want is probably oh yeah, and then the trigger. What's it called down here? I think it is called, yeah, dialog trigger. So trigger, and then that'll just be a component here. So GL to go to the end of the line, O to make a new line. I accidentally hit P again, but then we'll just do trigger, and that's going to be JSX.element. And we have to import JSX from React. So if I hit save, that should auto format. I said that should auto format. Oh, yes. We don't need that comma there, but that should. Wait, what am I doing wrong? Save. Comma expected. I have a comma. These are not formatting errors. Why is it not auto formatting? Oh, God, I'm an idiot. All right, comma there. Bang. Now auto formats. Okay, nice. So then that means we also need to update, and I should just start like, you know, using this jump list a little more. But yeah, in this case, we're going to yank this button, and then this is actually just going to be trigger. And actually, we don't even need to yank this. We can just delete it, because that also copies it to our, what do they call it? Copies it to your stack or something. And then we'll go to our jump list, and we'll go to the table index where we have this, and then this will throw an error. I said this will throw an error. Diagnostics. Yeah, so it can't find this because it's actually edit column. And then can't you search? I think you could do, oh, you do this to search, and then we'll go to edit column. Wait. All right, whatever. So edit column, and then that's down here. Oh. And then I'm going to press, so to delete this word up to column, I'm just going to do V, which enters visual mode, and then T, which is basically telling it go up to but not including the next character, so I select. And then if I press capital C, it'll just select everything up to that capital C. So now I can press C again to actually, basically it like deletes what you have and then puts you into insert mode, and now I can just do edit column. And then this one is going to be table, and then we also need column ID is going to be undefined, and then trigger equals, and then we're going to do shit. So basically, I think what it did was when I pressed C, it must have copied it. Table card content. We need to go back to our we need to go back to this, press undo, undo, delete this again, and then we can go back here and then I'm just gonna paste this. Shit. Paste this in there. Bam. Do we need to import these, or we already have them? All right, nice. So, yeah, that's pretty good. And then now we can actually just go to our, it's a little weird like trying to talk and do this at the same time. But where do we have our... This is one thing with like Helix that I'm not really used to, or any of these like command line, because without having the file tree, like the file tree kind of gives you like a visual reference for like where the file you want is. And then when you don't have that visual reference, you're kind of like just like navigating based on names, which is a little bit fucky, because you can see like this is just a wall of text right here. This is not like that helpful, you know? Oh, actually, yeah, this is exactly what we want. So for the header, well, not exactly what we want, but we'll go to the definition. So this header here, this is, this should fix itself. Yeah, so this header is this, basically the title, and then the tooltip, like the description if we have one, and then also the settings icon. And so for settings, what we'll do is we're actually going to use our edit column component. And then we're going to say, I think you can pass in, oh yeah, we just need to pass in column ID, and then that's going to be a string. And actually, that kind of means we need to pass in the table itself, which is a little bit, unless we created like a provider or something to grab that table as well, the configuration for that table, or you just make it so that it has to load up that configuration when you click the settings button, which wouldn't be that bad, but I also don't really feel like implementing that. I don't know. Let's just fucking pass it through. Fuck it, dude. So we'll do, we'll say table is going to be, wait, what are these? Oh, I see. Okay, so this is going to be column. Actually, I'll put it here. Column ID, and then table. And then we'll have, this is going to be column ID, string, and then table is going to be table config, like that. And then, so this edit column, what do we need here? We need the column ID, which is going to be column ID. It's also a little weird, like not writing with like Copilot, but I actually don't really mind it that much. Why did it? Oh, I must have pressed. There must be like a keyboard shortcut to Helix, because I keep doing this on accident. Helix paste below line, because it's like you can do O. You can do O to insert a new line below what you're looking at and go into insert mode. You can do paste. I wonder if paste is just on a new line. Because if I copy this and paste, yeah, but now it just goes on the same line. Unless you have to make sure to copy the new line as well. Jesus, this is a lot of, you know what, we'll just go ChatGPT. How do I paste my clipboard below selected text in below current line in Helix? Like O esc P. Okay. And then, so yeah, we need column ID there. Then we also need table, which is going to be just table. And then, of course, column, wait, we're already passing in column ID. Oh, and then we just need the trigger, which is going to be this settings. that. Oh, and then we also need closing tag. That. Okay, so now basically when we click on this, it should basically open up our editor. And then the other thing we want to make sure of is that this settings icon has basically it needs to have the cursor, what do you call it? Cursor, oh my god, I don't have IntelliSense for fucking Tailwind. Cursor, oh my god, I don't even know this fucking class name. Tailwind cursor classes. Because basically we just need it to like actually show that you can click on it. It's going to be cursor pointer. That's what we need. Okay, so I'll go B to go backward and delete cursor pointer. Okay, save that. And then now when we look at this, now it's like a normal button, and then you click on it, it opens it up. Okay. But we do need to pass through the column ID and the table. So I believe you can go to uses, go to definition, go to references. And this is really nice because now you can like, it just pulls it up in this popover so you can just look where it's being used. So here, yeah, now it's saying it's giving us an error because we need to pass through more info. And that's actually fine. We're only using it in this one render column function. So all we need to do here is pass in column. What is the, I don't understand this. This is like cursor autocomplete, but it's like there's no AI in here. Column ID is going to be column ID, and then what else do we need? Table equals table. And now we need to add these to, are we really only taking the, yeah, all we're taking is the fucking column definition. So we need to add some params here. That's going to be table and then also column ID. And we'll just make this be ID here. Now, dude, check this out. This is the sickest shit ever. So now we can do GW. And do you see all these like little like characters here? So BD here, BB. So I can click, let's say if we wanted to go to, I want to actually go to this one because this is where I need to fix it. And you can see it says AK at the start. So if I hit AK on my keyboard, it instantly selects that word. It's so sick. So now I'm going to go V, and then we'll go capital T. So we're going to select backwards up to what I select now. And I'll do open curly brace, and now I can just delete that. So I'm not that fast with the motions yet, but I think like, I don't know, I'm just expecting that as I kind of get like faster with motions, it just becomes like way more fun and you know, effective. And I guess we need to define this. This is going to be table config, like that. And then this is going to be a string. And so now we just need to go to the references of this and find out where we're using it here. So that means in the table itself, we're passing in the config, which is the table config. Perfect, we already have that. And then here, oh fuck, wait, bro. This is shit. Okay, wait, so with map, we're calling render column, but I don't think we're actually passing any parameters in. So we could just pass in, I think now we need to basically, instead of just like passing in the entire object, I think we need to do like a normal, so we'll do like call, and then, actually we could just call this column, and then we're mapping column into this. So we'll do column here, table here, and then ID is going to be column dot ID. Oh, it's not even a, I don't know what you call it, but you just pass it in normally. Now what are you complaining about? Function return type and annotation columns. It's saying it's declared as any. Yes. Oh, actually, wait. Do you have to do return? No. Do you have to Dude, this is one of those things I'm literally going to yank diagnostic. Do we get something? Why happen? This is expert prompting, dude. This is literally how you fucking do this shit, guys. This is how you use AI efficiently. So we'll yank that. Actually, no, what you have to do is you have to do leader. Fuck. How the fuck do you do it again? You do. Jesus Christ. Actually, we'll use Cloud Code for this. I'm going to do clear. And then make this a little bigger. But yeah, so I have this tool here, so we can just hit space L and it'll copy this relative path to our clipboard. So now I can go to Cloud Code. I can say this. I can say why error happened, and then it'll. I actually really like the Cloud Code. Doesn't really like try to fix everything for you right now. It's like just kind of tells you what it's seeing, which I really actually love, because usually I don't want whenever Cloud Code proposes a fix, I'll just take that and I'll go like make it myself. So okay, what is it saying? It's saying error table used before defined. Table is created here. Oh, wait. Oh, I see. We're passing table. You fucking, what the hell, dude? All right, so I'm going to go word, delete, and then this is going to be config. Yeah. Oh my god, that's so stupid. Why didn't it just tell me this one parameter was fucking wrong? Okay, so that's good. So now this should work, and then we can basically allow editing columns through this button right here. And then we can also create columns, but we'll use the same dialog so we have nice consistency throughout our user interface. Okay, so then, and I'm going to call this something test column, something more attractive. Okay, nice. So then, yeah, what we need to think about is, if I go back to my here, so we have this create file, which basically lets us edit the column. And we probably want to call this just like, I don't know. There's only two hard problems in programming: cache invalidation and naming things. That's very true. Hello. How do I say her name? Marab. He's already gone. What am I doing, bro? I'm coding insane, dude. Look at the title. I'm coding insane. But this is React. It's a SaaS that I have. So yeah, we have our header for columns. We also have the renderer for each column. We have our types. Create is basically just going to be the editor for each column. We could maybe just call this modal or something. Or, I don't know, I'll just call it editor. So we're going to do mv, move this file, and then we're going to go command or control R, and then % copies the relative path, and we'll just call this editor.tsx. And then if I press enter, now it just renames that file. And so now all of the references to this are broken because it doesn't actually, wait, how do you, oh, go to references. Oh, it does change. What? I didn't realize it actually changes the imports as well. That's actually literally better than fucking Zed, dude. Zed is like, their file renaming and shit is always breaking. It's very annoying. Okay, so now the tricky part is, how do we save state? How do we handle state in this case? And I think probably what we need to have is we need to have a reducer similar to how we have one in the table editor. Because we have basically our index, which stores the state. I didn't want to delete that. Just yank it. So we have the state and the dispatch, and then we also have a table reducer. And probably what we'll do is the same type of thing. I mean, this might be a good place to start, but basically instead of editing a table, we're going to be editing these columns. So if I go to like these columns, columns here, then we have like, for instance, this one. The only tricky part is now you probably want a reducer for each type of column because you're going to be making different mutations. And so you would probably have a column or a reducer for top level stuff like the name, the type, and the description, some basic stuff, and then basically very similar to the way we have the table set up, because the table has a top level reducer for all the top level stuff, I suppose. And then we also have, yeah, so this table reducer, oh, it's just in this file, basically goes to, how does it work? So if we have a draft, then yeah, we can so set entity. Otherwise, we pass this action down to, yeah, so we basically add an action, an item parameter. So I think probably what we should do is just yank this whole file and then copy it over to, wait, can you do copy? No. No. Okay, so we'll just do go to this, and then so this editor, yeah, so we need the table reducer, and then we need the current state, which will be the table configuration. So if I go here, then I'm going to do O for open, and then we'll do Control R again, %. That'll drop in this, and then we're going to call this reducer.ts. And so this will be our reducer that handles top level updates, and then each column will probably have its own reducer just to make updates easier. Oh, dude, I didn't even know you were still here, Merab. Am I saying your name right, by the way? Merab? What up? Appreciate it, bro. Okay, so yeah, we'll create that new file, and then, so if I press open here, then I can write that, and then now we just created a new file here, so reducer. And all my files are named really similar. I don't like long file names. I don't like, doing a bunch of shit. I just want very basic file names, which also means that if we look for, you don't even have to use, like, obviously in like Next.js, you have to do index.ts. So you can see like how many wait, that's not even right. You have to do page.tsx. So you can see how many page.tsx's we have. But I also do index.tsx and ts like way too much as well. And you don't even have to do this, but I just do it because I like index, like barrel files. And so it does make it impossible to search for anything, which is a slight downside, but it's fine. So anyways, we will, yeah, so we have that, and then I'm going to go up to our table config, and then I think we should be able to go to we can go to line number 1, maybe. Oh, I should have done visual. Go to last line, GE, and then yank this. And now if I go back up to, shit. Now I'll just go to this one, and we're going to go to our reducer, and we'll just paste in this whole thing. Even though it's all going to change, it'll give us a nice kind of setup. Yeah. So then, what do we need? So we need basically, we need a few different types of things. So we need edit, edit column, edit meta action. So this is just going to be like metadata. So this will be, the item is going to be, and this should actually be, Yeah, see, this is where it's tricky, actually, because in this case, well, yeah, I guess it's fine, because in this case, we're just passing it to a second reducer with the part we actually want to edit. This just gives you a little bit nicer kind of type safety, because, like, we're going to have really fucked up, like, this is going to get really, really fucked up once we have, like, deep configuration, like we have for the actual filter builder inside one of these columns. Like, it's gonna be really cooked. All right, cool, dude. You're a bro. It says you're a top fan. I don't even know what top fan means. Top fan, dude. Let's go. 75 XP, dude. You're killing it, Marab. Okay, so meta action. So this is just the title and description. We already have those set up. And then I think the only other thing we need is the type of table. But that can actually be... I wonder if you would have... yeah. So yeah, we'll just leave this. And then this one is going to be set... I guess set type here. And then... yeah, because we need a way to basically set the type, because we're going to have in our editor, we're going to basically have, so we have, we'll get rid of this line. And then, so you can create a column, and this should actually be basically, it'll be column ID, edit, else, create, column, and then here we have an input for the title and the description. And then here we want to have basically a way for them to select the type of column, which should disappear if there's already, if they're editing a column. So basically we would say without column ID, then render, and this will just be a command select. And then, holy fuck, I forgot how to use this fucking component. Go to definition. We can pass in a value type. I see, right, because we need a value type. Yeah, and that's going to be, if we go up to, for type safety, we can pass in a value type, and that's going to be, I think we have the type labeled somewhere. Yeah, so we should probably extract this type out. This is going to be, go to definition, and then we'll export type, column config type equals, wait, did I not copy that correctly? VGL, shit. I did that wrong. VGL, just copy the line, Y to yank, and now we can GD to definition, and then we will paste this. So, and I need to delete that comma. And then now we can go back here and we can just call this type. And we need to import that. But then now, basically, when we set the type, we're going to make sure that it is one of column config type. So that's our generic there. And then what else do we need? We need the type, which is a string. And that basically tells you, or tells the user what to select. So I think this is going to be select column type, probably. Type is going to be column type. And we'll just copy this for now. Yank that, go back here. And I just kind of like pasting out the type that I'm dealing with, just so I can like kind of more easily think about it. So yeah, here we're gonna have this, and then we're gonna go, this is gonna be, what is it doing here? What is this? This is like just getting in the way. Type options. Oh, I see. It's just like giving me the details. Okay. So yeah, the type is going to be column type, and then the options equal, and this is actually going to be, I think, object dot entries, or is entries, you got object dot keys, object dot values. Okay, object dot entries, and then this is going to be column types dot map column, and then we're going to go return, what do we need? It's going to be value is going to be, oh, actually, this should be, I think this should be an array. This should be key value, right? Is that right? Yeah. So I think this is going to be value, and then label is going to be value dot, wait, did I do that wrong? Because I think object dot entries means that you get what does this expect? This expects command select option props, label string value, yes, of the value, and then an icon. Okay, so that should be right, I think. Value dot, oh, value should be key, I believe. And then label should be value dot, wait, why am I not getting any IntelliSense? I think I'm doing it wrong. What do you mean label? Why would there be a label with a capital L? That's not that. On select. Okay, key value. I'm just gonna type this out. Label, and then this should be icon, which is value dot icon. And then all we need now is on select equals set state whatever. Yeah, I don't know, that's fine, because like honestly I can't believe this isn't throwing in an error. And maybe this needs a comma or a parenthesis around it. And then chat, tell me what I'm doing wrong, dude. What is... Claude will actually be able to figure this out, but... And then I'm just going to try to indent all of these. Wait, what did I just do? All right, you know what? Why bad? Look, I'm not an expert, dude. I don't know what I'm doing. This is expert prompting, though, by the way. Why bad? The only thing I should have said was don't make mistakes. That's prompt engineering, bro. Do it right. Okay, so it said there are several issues. Fuck you, dude. Invalid JSX syntax. Options, missing return and proper object syntax, missing commas, wrong property name. Oh. Wrong property name. Arrow function body uses but no return statement. Object properties have no commas. Oh, yeah. So it should be, yes, we got the key value part right. Name, not label. Oh, right, yeah. So it should be, so this should be, we need a comma here, but I think it's saying that this is actually supposed to be name, right? And then, what else did it say? Selection is undefined. Yes, we definitely need that propped. That prop. Do we have an extra one of these? No, that maps to that one. That maps to that one. I don't understand. Wrong state management pattern. This looks like a reducer action. Yeah, you're damn right. All right. Ignore that. I'm talking about this. Type, column type, options. This literally looks like exactly what we have. Options equals object.entries, column types, dot map, key value. Yes. And then value is key. Label is value.name. Icon. So what does it say here? Left side of comma operator is unused and has no... Left side of comma operator. What is it saying? Oh, wait, what? We need a fucking parenthesis here? Is that really the issue? Maybe this needs to be... Why is it expecting a parenthesis? Because this is fucking JSX. What? Yeah, that's not right. That's not right either. Bro, this is like the fucking... This is why coding in Helix is not always like super fucking easy. Because honestly, like Zeta would have like fucking I can't even speak. Zed's autocomplete would have fixed that right away, but name value.icon. Why is it saying comma expected? String. Wait, is it saying... Oh, wait. No, this is right. Yes, so we have the right thing there. And then, because it's as const, it should say is not assignable to type this, or undefined. Types of property value are incompatible. Type string is not assignable to type. Oh, okay, I see. So it's basically inferring that this, I think that this value is a key. So we should say as column config type. Right? And then that fixes that error. I don't know why we have to cast it, because it should know based on this. I wonder if you can pass in like a generic here and say like column config type. I don't think you could do that. Wait, maybe you can. And then we would say icon string name string whatever. Okay, that's not working. All right. Whatever. So we'll just cast it. And then the only thing here is it's expecting a comma. I don't really know why. That's a closing one there. Oh, wait. Oh, for fuck's sakes. We were missing a fucking closing parenthesis that whole time. Jesus Christ, dude. I'm fucking retarded. And then we need to get rid of this. Delete that, and then delete that. And then on select, that's going to be an error, but we can leave it for now. But basically what we'd have is this. And so if we bring, if we bring this one up, then Wait, I thought this fixed that issue. I wonder if I have to go save that file now. But that's weird. So if we go tables, tables index, it says edit column there, but it says unsaved. This little plus button means it's unsaved. You cocksucker, dude. Oh, for fuck's sakes. It changes the fucking motherfucker, dude. Why? I need to Google this. Helix updates imports but doesn't save. That is so fucking... Doesn't save... Oh. What the fuck? What are we looking at here? When Helix, the changes are applied to the editor's buffer in memory, but they're not automatically saved to the file on disk. You must manually save the file after the changes have been made. Dude, that is such a pain in the ass, though. Because now I have to go to all the fucking references to this file and save the changes. Actually, I think that's how Zed does it as well. Autosave. I wonder if this is talking about it. Because the rest, unless I save my file. Well, you fucking dipshit, dude. Okay. Yeah, so we just need to go to whatever this fucking file is, header, header here, and then save this. And I think we could just go to gd, gr, all the references for this, and just make sure these are all saved. I'll go back, gr, go here, wait, gr. Go back, gr. It doesn't tell me if this file is saved or not, which is a little bit fucking annoying. Gr. This is saved. Yeah, okay, whatever. So it looks like these saved. Now, okay, so if we hit plus column, then we can select the column type here. And that'll either be action buttons, AI analysis results, tags and attributes, detail cards, or formatted text. Or technically custom metrics, but those aren't, that I'm kind of saving that till last because that's going to be a royal fucking pain in the ass. But yeah, so once you select this column type, then we'll pass that to the reducer. Whoops. And then this... So yeah, once they select the column type, we need to basically pass that to our reducer here. And this needs to be able to handle updating the state of the entire table, which is actually, well, technically, no, because basically, okay, actually, this should just find that column. Yeah, that's how it should work. So it should be like this, basically. Column equals, and then we'll uncomment this, and then we need to import, go to Word, AE, and then we'll import use memo, and then basically for the table, we'll go to the columns and we'll find a column where the column ID equals, why do we put that in quotes? Equals column ID. And then we have to pass in a dependency array, and I don't even know why we're memoizing this, but I suppose it just prevents it from re-rendering, right? I'm not a React expert by any stretch of the imagination, but basically this is going to be either a column or undefined, and this is what we'll pass to the reducer. So that means in our actual reducer, I can use my jump file. In this, we're basically going to say it can take in, yeah, so this is going to take in a column config. So if I go to Word AI, oh, AI, dude, then we'll go, this is going to take in a column config here. And then we'll also make this be, and I wonder if I can do, okay, whatever. We'll just do this. and then make this column reducer. So this is our editor for any type of column. Oh no, it's giving me that error. Fuck off. And we will just get rid of this for now. I think you can do matching bracket, and I could just delete all of that. Because that, we will need that, but that's a little bit, I mean, honestly, we could kind of delegate that to the column itself. Because when you choose a type of column, then that column should be responsible for creating its own default config. Because the only thing is, to make TypeScript happy, you kind of have to have a default config. Although the other thing technically you could do, which is like just a little bit cursed. Actually, it's like hugely cursed. But basically, if we look at like the types here, we have like this action button column. And for the editor to work, you have to make these attributes optional, because otherwise when the user goes to like, well, otherwise basically TypeScript throws a fit unless the user simultaneously adds everything all at once. So you either need a separate type to store like the partial, I think, or we're gonna have to basically go through and make like all of these things fucking optional, which is just like a goddamn fucking tragedy. Oh god, how do I accept multi-cursor, dude? Alright. Oh my god. Save me. Holy fuck. How the fuck do I get out of multi-cursor? Am I out? I am out. How did I do that? Okay, so yeah, that is essentially the problem here. But, you know, that's future Adam's problem. Fuck that guy, dude. Actual pussy. So, in this case, all we really want to do is just set up that reducer again. So, we'll go back to our reducer. And then, I think, for metadata, it'll be basically like set the title, set the description, and then maybe we even have like the type would be set type, and then the payload would just be column config type. Nope, type this. And unfortunately, dude, this is so fucked up because it doesn't. With Helix, we also don't have ESLint working. I googled it; it's just not really. You can't really get it, and so ESLint typically does like removes unused imports, but right now we just have to do that manually, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, so in this case, we'll probably just have this edit meta action, which would be like set title, set description, and set type. And then the edit config action will have the item is config, and then yeah, I think in this case it's really just going to be like and one of these reducer types, because then we'll just create a reducer for each column type. So I'll get rid of that, and then the action is basically just going to be, yeah, edit config action. But we should also have like a column type here, I think. Because you would probably want to have, well, actually maybe, yeah, I mean, maybe each reducer for each column would have like the column and then the type of column, just to make sure that TypeScript is happy. This stuff is like mind-bendingly fucking confusing. So, you know, apologies for how fucked up my brain is right now. But yeah, edit meta, and then edit. So this is going to be meta, and then just get rid of this. And then we also don't need this. And so, yeah, I don't know why it's throwing a fucking fit right now. Because ain't nobody got time to read whatever the fuck this is. Oh, actually, I bet I can fix it. Watch this. Now if we go here, and I think you do, yes. Oh, wait, did I not do that right? Delete this. Yes. Okay, perfect. So now we just have to set up the reducer. And I think probably the way we'll do that is we'll just say if item type, if action.item equals meta, then we have these things. So, wait, what do you mean? Set title, set description, set type. Oh, I see. Wait. Column config is basically column base plus, oh, I see. Name and description is what they called them. So we'll go here is going to be name, and then this is going to be description. Okay, there we go. So then we could set that, and then the only other thing we need is case set type, and then this is going to be draft.type equals action.payload. Like that. Okay. And then, so this is basically like metadata updates. And then down here is going to be our actual like updates for the kind of column itself. And so in this case, I think really all we want to do is switch on the, yeah. I mean, this is basically just going to be like the reducer actions. So probably what we should do is just, I don't know why this is here. We'll go visual, and then we'll go down to last line, yank this whole thing, and then we're going to go, let's just start with like, I don't know, which column should we start with? Plain text is actually kind of, all these are complicated. Look, none of these are simple. We will do plain text first. That might be the most simple. So yeah, here, oh fuck, we have a render and a reducer. This is going to be so hard to read, but yeah, anyways, we'll go here, and then we're going to go open, and then again, control R, %, that copies the current path, and then this is going to be reducer.ts, and then I will paste in that. And so now here, we're not going to have this. We're going to basically have a few actions for editing the, yeah, so this should be, whoops, edit, plain edit column action. And then in this case, I think it just helps to make this column, and then that's going to be basically like plain text column at type. So basically just like kind of tie this to that, because plain text column at type is just plain text, but you know, it helps to not have to like fucking repeat yourself if you ever change any types. And then the action is basically just going to be the intersection of all these things, or the union, I suppose. And then, actually it's not a union. It would be a intersection. I don't even know what you'd call it. Yeah, so that's our action. That's our base action, and then we need like a few actions around that, just so we can like kind of get things bopping, you know what I'm saying, get things jumping. I would say we probably want to default so that when a user selects I want a plain text column, that we scaffold out a default there, just to make sure that like, I don't know. Do you need that? I don't think you really need that. But if we go to the definition of this, basically it's going to be a liquid template and then a link optionally, which we have a definition for a link, which is a URL, which could be a liquid template, and then also a target of current, new tab, or modal. So that's pretty simple, actually. So we don't really need too much. Basically, all we would have is like probably set value, and then we might even create a separate reducer for like links and some shared stuff, because it would be like, if the update is like the value, then do this. Otherwise, if we're updating the link, let's just pass that down to its own kind of reducer again, just to keep code like kind of really like these files like really simple and clean. But yeah, so we'll probably have type set value action, and then that's going to be type. Wait, can we use type? Because we did use that somewhere here. Oh, actually, no, actually that should be fine, because we'll use meta, and then this is just basically going to be, yeah, okay, that's okay. So I'll go back down here, and then this is going to be set value, and it'll come with a payload of a string. And then we might actually want, yeah, so basically this is just going to be set value action, like that. So then we'll just pass in this action, and instead of column config, we might actually just make this so that it is, this is going to be plain text column, basically. Plain text column, like that. That, I think, should be pretty good, because the only thing we're going to struggle with is now we have to like make sure that when we pass in the value to this reducer, that TypeScript actually knows it's the config for a plain text column. But I think we can make that work. So yeah, so anyways, and then here we're basically just going to switch on the action type. So I'll delete this. Good thing is here we don't need any complex queries or anything. So yeah, we'll just do switch action.type, and of course we only have one type so far, so this will just be case set value, and then that's going to be what is it going to be? Basically like draft dot value equals action dot payload. No TS errors there, and then column config type. Yeah, dude. Oh, this is actually annoying, because now it's not like deleting. Fuck. Now it's not removing unused imports. So I need to kind of go like delete that, delete that, delete that. Actually, we could just delete this whole fucking thing. Yeah. Okay. Now that's fine. Now we don't have any errors. And then if I go back to the table, then in this case we'll switch. Oh, and then this is going to be. Did we export the type there? Because we need to export. Oh, maybe we should more aptly name this. This is basically going to be plain text column action. So then this is going to be plain text column action. Oh shit. Plain text column action, word, copy that, and then go down here. And I think I could go back, and then, no, I can go back, capital R to replace. Okay, nice. So then if we go back up, did I go back up far enough? Yeah, okay, here. So then this will be, and action, or plain text column action, like that. I wish there was a way to like just export something like below what you're looking at in that same directory. That would kind of simplify things a lot, because now you don't have to like, I mean, obviously it makes file structuring more difficult, but it also kind of gives you rules around like how to file structure. So then we'll switch action.type, because this type should be strongly typed as no. Oh, this should be dot column. Wait, what do you mean it doesn't exist? If I go here. Oh, wait. I thought I passed. Oh, yeah, we need to make this a union. Edit column action. Not a union, a intersection, I suppose you would say. I don't actually know. I literally took like a logic fucking class in college. That's how fucking useless college is, dude. You don't even remember it. Also, it doesn't hurt if you drop out, you know. So then we'll switch column.type action.column. Now we actually have this strongly defined. So yeah, it should know that this is basically when we go to add a case here, it should just have, yeah, plain text. And then basically in the case of plain text, then we're just going to pass, then we're just going to call our plain text. Did we not export the reducer? Jesus Christ. Oh my God. VTR, delete that. And then this is going to be plain text column reducer. Like that. Okay. Now we can import that. Plain text column reducer. And we're going to pass in the draft and the action. The only worry I have here is, yeah, so it's basically saying, yeah, so it doesn't know that this draft is now a, Actually, I think what we could do is instead of having the column in there, we could probably say bt this, delete that, and then we could probably say draft dot type, and now it knows that the draft is the correct type, and now we don't actually need this kind of base type here. Now we can just delete this, and then delete this. And so now we just basically pass in, the user sets the type at first, but then all the other actions past that are passed to this other reducer. But yeah, I mean, reducers seem like a pain in the ass, but they actually fucking make your life just like oodles easier. So yeah, that's fine. We'll do that. And yeah. Now really what we should do is we should think about whether or not it's worth it to create. Really, the only goal I had right now was to kind of draft out how reducers and components are kind of going to work together. But I think this is a pretty solid paradigm. We have that top level reducer that handles everything, and then every action past that will get passed down to each column will have its own reducer that'll handle kind of updates more granularly, instead of having like the most fattest, ugliest file you've seen in literally your entire life. So yeah, and then yeah, because I think we have a couple of these. So as far as, oh, well, yeah, we only have one action right now. But if I go to plain text column and then go to link and go to references, action buttons, plain text. So these two use the link type. So it might actually make sense just to have like a separate kind of reducer for links. And maybe that could even go in the actual reducer file just down here. So we could say basically like export const link reducer, and then this is going to be reducer draft, and then this will be of type link, like that. Yeah, link, and then it'll have an action. We'll have to call this link action equals, and then we pass draft is of type draft, link, and then action is link action. Yeah, and then we just have arrow syntax. Okay, so then what we need here for type link action equals, basically I think we're just gonna have two types here, because the item will be config, but then in this case I think we have a type set value. I don't know, that's a little tricky. Well, because we're not going to be passing directly to it from this main reducer. We're going to be passing to this. This is a little confusing. We might, I don't know, we might want to create like a separate file here that's just like shared shit or something. I don't know. But yeah, so we have this link reducer, and then this link action would either be basically type of set, what does a link have again? It has a URL and then a target. Okay, so yeah, so we would basically do set URL, and then that's going to be that, and then set payload should be a string, and then this will also be type set target, payload is going to be, do we create a generic type for this? No, so we need to delete this and export type link target equals, whoops, and then this is going to be link target. Okay, so that looks good, and then this is just going to be basically payload is going to be link target, like that. Okay, I hate how it does this, like, fuck, I should really learn what this is called, but it literally does like the OR operator at the start, even though it's like, it does, I guess, look better. But yeah, so those are the actions that we can pass to the link reducer, and then basically in here we'll do switch type switch action dot type, and then that'll be oh, actually this needs to be set yeah, that should be fine as long as we don't have any naming conflicts there. Case set URL is going to be I don't even want those parentheses. It's going to be draft dot URL equals payload, whoops, action payload, and then we'll return here, and then case set target is going to be draft dot target equals action dot payload, and return. Okay, so now we should be able to go back to our plain text column reducer, and then this one could be and link action. Fuck, we didn't export that. God, fucking pussy cocksucker, dude. Export type link action. Okay, so now we can go here and we'll just import this, blam, like that, and then switch. Wait a second, it says never, it says it never exists. Type set value action equals type of set value, payload a string. Oh, wait, yeah, it needs to be or. There we go. And then, actually, you know what? This would be way simpler if we just did if action.type equals set value, then draft.value equals action.payload, else we're just going to link reducer draft and action. Draft dot link, and it's saying it could be undefined. I suppose that's fair. Maybe we should just make it yeah, because it could technically be undefined, which means what do we need to do there? Do we need to provide like a default value? Dude, front end is actually so fun. Like front end, it just feels like a giant puzzle, whereas back end is literally like, back end for me has always been, I know exactly how this needs to work, and I'm just fucking coding. I'm just writing code like for 4 hours and just like not thinking at all, literally just fucking writing code. Whereas like front end is such like a puzzle. It feels like everything just like fits together like perfectly once you kind of get it, and it's like, it just feels way more fun. Anyways, how the fuck do I fix this? Yeah, so basically it's saying this could be undefined. Actually, maybe what we do is we make this either a link or undefined. And now it's basically going to give us an error there where we can't edit an undefined value. But what we'll probably do is if draft, basically if this value is undefined, then draft equals, and then we kind of need like some type of default link, but that would be like URL equals this and target equals new tab. Did you mean to use, oh, I did mean to use that. Okay, that way we always make sure that draft is defined. God, that even looks uglier than what it was. Clean code, guys. Clean code, dude. Clean code will make your fucking product way better. Okay, so yeah, we're using this link reducer inside. Then we can also use this for buttons and other stuff. This is literally genius. So yeah, we have this plain text column reducer. This is actually done, but now we just need to basically make it so that when the user, so if we go back to our editor here, when the user selects a column type, it should basically, well, firstly, it should bring up the editor, which we still need to build out. But we actually, I mean, we did basically this part. So we know how these components are going to work together. So maybe we could think about what to do next, which is, so we have a bunch of different columns. Each column will need its own reducer to handle updates. It'll also need its own front end to handle front end shit, I guess. And then, or all the inputs for that. And then also it'll need a renderer, but we can do the renderer later. That'll probably be later on. We'll do this is going to be a draft, and we'll do create column renderers. So that'll probably be like tomorrow. But yeah, for the editors, so we know how the reducers are going to work now, and we actually did basically complete the reducer for plain text columns. I think the only thing we need to do now is, so we have the plain text reducer, which I think is free of errors. So we just need to do the reducer for all of these columns. And then also probably do a reducer or the logic to basically handle like updates in the main element. Because I don't think we have a reducer set up here yet, do we? No, we don't even have our reducer, our main reducer set up. So let's create that, and then yeah. Oh, and this is actually fucked up because we're gonna need like a default column, because otherwise it won't let us use the dispatch. We might need a separate component that handles the editing or something like that. I don't know. Let's try it out. That's how you think when you're coding, is you just fucking build shit and then you see if it works or not. But yeah, so this will be create main editor component swapping. So let's create like a standalone kind of component for plain text, and then just try to swap that in when the user selects plain text. And then the other thing we'll have to do is create reducers for all column types. So just create a reducer to handle updates there, and then create editors. I mean, this is going to be, that's going to be a bit of a bear, because we're going to have to create an editor for each type, which is, I'm a perfectionist and it's going to take fucking forever. So yeah, that's a problem, but you know, it'll be a-okay. So yeah, here yeah, so we need to do the dispatch pattern. So we'll say state dispatch equals use immer reducer, and then we're going to pass in column reducer and our table dot, or then we're going to pass in our column. But we're going to find this issue here. So this is our column from up here. Why is it saying this? Column config is not assignable to parameter of type immer reducer, column config, or undefined. Yeah, so it's a little weird. It's highlighting this one in red. So yeah, we obviously need to get rid of this. Can you select like multiple lines? You should be able to. Oh, that is so sick. You can do X and then, wait, I should be able to do V, X, and then I can just select line, but oh, that's so much better. All right, so we'll get rid of those, and then, yeah, it's just saying that this is wrong. Type row or action button column or column base is not assignable to type. Basically, I think the problem is that this column is possibly undefined, because if we look at this, it's basically, but if we said this was definitely present, which it's not, then yeah, that error goes away. So that's the problem that we're gonna have here, is that basically we're trying to find the column, because the way this editor works is you either pass in a column ID, which tells us, okay, we're editing a column, or you don't pass in a column ID, which tells us we're not editing a column, and basically we're creating one, which means that reducer kind of needs like a default, you know, column type here to use. Unless we had like a default column config that was like basically just there was basically just the ID, name, and description. That could be interesting, because now, yeah, I mean, maybe let's do that, but then that's going to cause some other issues. But if we just go back here and we made this column base or this, column base. Now it's going to cause some issues down below. Whoops, what did I do? Column base. Oh, it's because it's the same word. Okay, so we need to do that. Column base or this. But now, yeah, so now it's saying this type does not exist. Property type does not exist on type draft column base. Unless we made it so that the type was just a string. But I don't know if that kind of fucks up these. This type. No, this is fine. Column config type is still strongly typed. So that fixes that issue, and the only thing is now the user has to select a type immediately. I mean, maybe we could say, like, if we go here, we get rid of this type. Because basically when the user creates a column, I mean, honestly, name should be, like, undefined as, possibly undefined as well. Because when the user creates it, it'll be undefined, and then they'll have to type in a name. So here, I think the only thing is we're going to do else if item draft.type. Oh, you fucker, dude. Dude, this is like such a pain in the ass thing about TypeScript. If type in draft. Basically, you have to do like a soft check to see like if it exists, because it doesn't know if this is the right type. And then property type does not exist. We might have to do the same thing here. We might have to say if type in. Well, no, because this would be like setting the type initially. Maybe we just make it like optional or something. We're gonna do column base. Type string. Now if we go back here, then we actually don't have any errors. We could even get rid of this, I believe. Yeah. I mean, I think that works. That should be fine. Because now we can just pass in, or we should be able to just pass in. Well, this is going to be undefined, right? But we'll probably do const param. I don't know what to call this. Past equals this one. So if past return past, so that'll return the default column. Else return, basically it's going to be ID. We need to find what need to calculate what the ID should be, and then actually the ID should just be a number, because that would be a lot easier to deal with, I think, because you could basically just go like find the lowest, unless you just use like a UUID or something. I don't know what we use for this column. We need to calculate what the ID should be. But for now, we just put test, and then the name could be whatever. That's fine, because now that's a valid column. Basically, it just needs to have an ID, which is actually fine, because yeah, it always makes sense to pass in basically to generate the ID when the user starts editing it. Unless you just did that when they created it, but whatever. I'm gonna yank this. And I'm just gonna ask Claude what it thinks we should do. What should we do for the ID property here. Oh, we need to yank this to the system clipboard. How the fuck do I do this? I just did this. Helix copy to system clipboard. I'm gonna be like, I literally know exactly how to do it. I just forgot. Space with the space key. Oh, yeah. Okay. Duh. And then we'll copy this relative path and then just drop this in and see what Claude says. So yeah, we just have that ID, and then that'll give us the column. And then basically what we'll do is we'll say if the yeah, so if we did not get a column ID, then we're going to show this. And then the other thing we could do, we need to calculate what the column should be. And then, whoops. Oh yeah, check this out. This is what I'm going to watch right after this video, dude. Fuck. Okay, so what's it saying? So, generate one with use state. Use the stable ID generated once. New column ID equals use state crypto.random UUID. Oh, you want to use use state so it doesn't re-render. That makes sense. Yeah, let's just do it that way. Fuck it. Const. And then I'm going to rename this new column ID with snake case because it's infinitely better. And then this is just going to be new column. Actually, I don't even think we need to memoize this or to use state here. I think we can just pass in what do I do? Press B for back and then capital R to replace. Okay. Yeah. Because honestly, like if the ID changes, it's not a big deal. What really matters is that when we go and save this to the database, then it becomes stable. So it doesn't really matter because we're not actually going to use this ID for anything. It's just basically to make TypeScript happy. Honestly, and because at some point we're gonna have to generate an ID, so why not now? But yeah, that's fine. So we'll create the column that way, and then we have this save disabled. We'll basically say like save is disabled. For now, it'll be like return column. Basically, holy shit, double negative column dot type. Honestly, I'm just going to type this out. If column.type, what are you saying? Yeah, okay. We're just going to have to go if type in column and column.type. We'll just make sure it's actually like defined properly. Return false. And this is going to have to change as we like add more kind of rules around like when something is allowed. Otherwise we'll return true. So then that should mean that if we go back to this, then the save button should be disabled. Just that I think we're not passing. Oh, because table.columns right now is undefined. I see. Yeah. Do we have to set state? Oh, I see. Yeah, that's the issue. Okay. So we'll go out of here, and this is going to be actually dispatch, and it'll be type is set type, and payload is e.target.value. Can I do that this way? No. It has to be... how the fuck do you... GD, go to definition, on select, value type or undefined, void. How the fuck do I do this? In our table editor, dispatch. Okay. Command select, on select. Yeah, this is what we're doing. Okay. Yank. And then columns. Holy fuck, this is going to become such a pain in the ass. P. Basically get rid of this. Oh, I'm going to do that trick. Press X. Now I can select lines. That is so much more convenient. And then, oh yeah, the item does have to be, it's actually going to be meta. And then this is going to be set type. And then payload is value. Bam. If there's a value, because we won't let them deselect a value, basically, is what that does. And then, yeah, so now, okay, now it's loading. So if we go press column, so now save is disabled, but when we select a type, well, I think we need a little bit more here. Selection, yeah, so we have the selection as undefined. That's actually going to be state dot, oh, are you fucking kidding me, dude? ID is the only thing I can reference from state because the column is possibly, okay, let's just, oh, you know what we might do is we might just say name undefined, description undefined, and type is undefined as well. Because that way, now I think we should be able to access, I think it was just complaining because that singular type, yeah. So there, and then, is it saying you can't pass? Oh, it's saying this is possibly a string. I see. Can we go back to where we just were? No. We go up. So this, we basically just need to tell it that this satisfies base, or it's going to be column base or column config. Yeah. And by the way, satisfies is something I learned about in TypeScript recently, which is really nice because actually it's almost, as far as I understand, it's basically functionally simpler, functionally the same as using column, and then this, whoops, is basically the same as telling it this is supposed to be of this type. Because now basically you're telling the compiler, okay, throw an error, well, the compiler, the TypeScript like linter, you're telling it, okay, throw an error if we're telling it it should be this type, but we're passing back an incorrect type. But basically here, this is either going to be a config or undefined, and then if it's undefined, then we're passing back a valid column base. So that should be fine. But yeah, and then here, string, oh, you fucking, type string is not, it still thinks it's a string. State.type is not a string. State.type is a GD. State.type is not a string, but for some reason I think it thinks it's a string. Oh, wait, no, set title, set type. So we're saying unless it thinks, unless we have column base, we have to, there you go, dude, there's a fucking issue. Alright, so this is actually going to be, and this is where shit gets really, really fucked up, because this needs to actually go here, I mean, it doesn't actually matter in TypeScript. You can like use a variable before you've defined it, but I just kind of like doing it that way. So we'll get this, and then this is going to be column config type. That's the issue, because type was typed as string basically. Except now, now it's a circular declaration, because these depend on the column base, and then this is saying, motherfucker, dude, fuck my fucking life, bro. I wonder if we could just define like kind of a column meta type or something. How do we deal with this? God, that is actually really fucked up though. We'll say or type undefined. How about that? Or, and actually this is going to be column base and type is undefined. I wonder if that is actually going to work. Because now here, yep, now we have an error. Property type does not exist on type. Oh, because we're, yeah, this should just be column config. Instead, G T C bam. Wow, dude, really efficient, dude. Literally took me fucking 8 minutes to delete that one word, but okay, now here string or undefined does not satisfy the constraint string. You cock sucker, dude. Motherfucker. Oh my god. It's because, alright, look. Yeah. It's because we're drawing this type from this column config, which means we need a separate type to declare this, like, kind of undefined type. Maybe what we'll say is, like, maybe we'll just create, like, a separate type for, like, column, or export type editor column. Or I think we could do export type new column. And then that would be, basically that would be this. And then equals this. And then we can get rid of this. And then this is not going to be undefined anymore, but we have this new column type that we can use here, and now it's actually working legit, but we do have to go edit, update this, go to definition here, and then this is either going to be a new column, new column, or column config, and then same thing here. New column or column config. Okay, no TS errors, and this looks fine. So now, yeah, now we can actually set the value there. I'm just gonna refresh. And so if we go this, or no, new column, then we can set this type, and it looks like it works fine. We can't set the type yet, or the title yet. So we should do that. And the error happened because it's trying to call set state, which doesn't actually exist, I think. Yeah, that's crazy. It doesn't even throw an error for that. It just gives a little warning. But yes, yeah, so this is going to be basically, wait, oh yeah. This is going to be dispatch. And then item is going to be the meta. Config is going to be, or not config, it's going to be type is going to be set title, and then payload is going to be e.event.value. oh, e.target.value. AC target. Okay. And then we can basically just yank this whole thing for this one. And that's going to be this, except we're going to make this set description. Okay. And then state dot it should exist on that new type. Go to definition here. Set a new column. We have type is undefined, but it's also column based. Oh, it's saying, I see. Okay, we'll just do or undefined. We'll make this explicit because I think what it's saying is basically like, I think what it's saying is because that could possibly not exist in the object, that it's not valid. What is this saying now? Argument of type. Ain't nobody got time for that, dude. Holy fuck. That is quite the error. So yeah, this is just going to be state. Property title does not exist on... Yes, it fucking does, you dickhead, dude. That's probably what this is complaining about. It's saying property title doesn't exist. Oh, wait. Column base. Yeah. Delete this. I don't even know if we're using these. No, we weren't. So why is it saying? Because an action button column is column base, which has the title. Oh, the name. Wait. Oh. Holy shit. Name. There we fucking go, dude. Jesus Christ. And then this is going to be... wait. Yeah, desk. Okay. Like that. Blam. Oh, and this shouldn't be just... this should be description. Okay. So, what are we actually working on right now? It is create manager component swapping. So, yeah, I think we just need to make sure that when we select a type that we can actually swap in an editor. And this is all I want to do. Create main editor component swapping. So that's going to be basically okay, so we have what diagnostics do we have? This is throwing an error. Holy fuck. Yank diagnostic, and I'll just pass this to Claude and then pass it also the file. I'm gonna say, yo, I don't even know what's going on there. Like, you gotta fucking figure that out, dude. The biggest use case of AI is just reading the fucking errors that I can't be bothered to. The type error indicates there's a mismatch between what the reducer expects. Oh, it really, dude. Wait, what? I can see new column is defined as column base and type undefined. The fix is simple. Change the type annotation from column base or column config to new column. Wait, where am I? Oh, in the fucking, god damn it, up here. That is so funny. I wonder if it'll, because now it's going to update this declaration, but I wonder what that's going to look like in Helix when it does that. Whoa. Jesus Christ. What are you doing, dude? No, fuck off. I'll do it myself, bro. New column, and then just delete this. And I guess we need to import new column like that. Okay. So we actually don't have any diagnostics now. Wait a second. Oh, bang. Okay. So it didn't update in real time because we're using, I think they're called buffers. Files are called buffers, actually, which I didn't understand, but I think it's like it buffers it into memory because it's actually stored on your disk, but it buffers the file into memory. And then if the file on disk changes via like Cloud Code or something, then that doesn't immediately update what's in memory. So you either have to like pull the most recent version or overwrite it or something. That's at least what I kind of understand. So yeah, we're good here. We don't have any errors. Now what we need to do is basically just make it so that when we select this type, so if we do like formatted text, I just want to show like a little editor here. And then that's pretty good because now we can just start like building out each editor for each column type and the reducer for each column type. So I think what we're going to do is go to our plain text, and we need a editor. So I'm going to go open, and then we'll do Control R % to copy the current path. And we'll go editor.tsx and create this, and we're going to go export function plain text column editor, no params for now, and then return null, whatever. Actually, let's just return a div that says editor. That should actually work because now basically all we need to do is make sure that we'll export everything from /. Why are there so many files here? Oh, what the fuck? Wait a second. Okay, we have renderer and types. We need reducer and... Do we need reducer? No, because we'll import that from the editor. We just want to export the editor. Okay. So yeah, in this file, basically what we have is up here, if we did not have a column already, if we're creating a column basically, it's going to show the selector. But then once they've selected a column, then we're going to do basically column dot type, or no, it should be state dot type. And you know what we'll do is I think you can do this. This is a little bit fucking hacky, but you know, who gives a shit? So you do this column, and then you do switch state.type, and then we're gonna do case plain text return plain text column editor. Is there an extra fucking... Oh, Jesus Christ. Dude, I cannot for the life of me figure out how to use fucking case statements. It's gonna be like that. Okay. But, oh, yeah, we need a, this is a ternary operator, so we'll just do, whoops, Jesus Christ. We'll do that instead. So yeah, this is actually pretty elegant because I really like these like functions. I don't know what you call this, but basically you have a function. So you declare like an arrow function here. You say like, you kind of do like the parentheses and then the arrow and then the function. So you declare a function, but you wrap the whole thing in parentheses, and at the end you call it by doing the open parentheses again, which means that this function will immediately evaluate it. And this is like so nice in my code because if I go like, I think I could probably go find something that looks like this. I wonder if I can like, I think I'm gonna have to copy this to my system clipboard, and then if we search all my files, Wait, how do you open? Can't you like search? How the fuck do you search global search? Oh, here we go. Wait. Why is it const? Yeah, I mean, obviously we have fucking that shit. Whatever, dude. I was just trying to say, like, when you want to return a value, but you don't want to, like, use let, basically, you can just call this function, and then you can use, like, if statements or switch or whatever, and it just makes life so much easier. So in this case, I think now, yeah, bam, we have our fucking editor. Oh, dude, I'm so good at fucking React. Jesus Christ. This is just unfair. But now, if we go to this one, that goes away. So basically, when the user selects this, it'll show the editor. Now this editor has to be responsible for, I guess, like creating a default state or something. Yeah, because what we'll do is this should actually take as a parameter. Well, yeah, and this is basically done. So that's good. So now what we need is a reducer for all column types. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, we need to create reducers for all column types, create editors for all column types. But yeah, I mean, basically what this will do is this will take in a parameter like column, which should be, column is going to be a plain text column. And then it also should take in dispatch, which is basically going to be, dispatch is going to be plain. I need to look at how we do this. So in the table, we have the editor and the main index. Jesus, like, look at this fucking code, dude. This is just cancer. But yeah, so we have the edit table item. We have our table reducer. I forget even what I was fucking looking for now. But basically we want to take we want to be able to pass the dispatch. Oh yeah, here's what we're doing. So if we go down to the filter graph editor, so we're passing dispatch, and then so this takes a dispatch, which is a React dispatch of, okay, I see. So it's a filter graph action. So we'll yank that and then go back here, and then it's going to take, then we'll pass in the action, and we'll say this is of this type, and we'll dispatch item. Yeah, so we'll basically say item is config and then filter. Yeah, okay. So in this case, this is going to be this. Whoops. And then this is actually going to be of type plain text column. So then when we go back here, basically this is going to expect the whoops. Okay, how do I fucking do this? So it's going to be, the column is going to be state dot, actually just going to be the state, and then the dispatch is going to be a plain text column action, and that'll be return. Wait, I need to look at how I did it again in here. This is, I'm just gonna yank this and go back. Command, yes, like that, and then except this is going to be plain text column action. And then the item is just going to be config. And then the only thing here is wait. Wait a second. How does this... Why is this saying this? This is... Dude, I'm about to fucking rip Claude code again. I'm literally going to. I mean, we should even define, like, what the editor needs to look like. Because if we go to the definition here, it's always going to be this. Except we'll just pass it a generic. So it's basically going to be... I'll actually just delete this and go up here. I think right now we're in the editor. Yeah, so up at the top here, we'll just define export type column editor props equals. And this is going to be generic. Column equals wait, how do you redo? Fuck, I don't want to have to Helix redo. Undo change. Oh, capital U. This is just gonna be this. Oh, I didn't have the fucking... God damn it, dude. I forgot if I copied it with the so yeah, and then in this case it's just gonna be the column type. And actually, let's change this column to be column type, and then this is going to be column type, and then column type here. So this is a generic type, so we basically just pass in the type of column that we want. And then now if we go down here, then we're just going to make this a little bit generic, just so that we have like a standardized system for kind of passing in the props to these editors. So I think it'll make it a little bit easier. Column editor props of type plain text column. Okay. And then, yeah, so for our dispatch, honestly, fuck it, dude. Let's just yank diagnostic. Shit. Yank diagnostic fix please. This is peak prompting. And then pass that. Okay, let's see what Claude comes up with. What's up, my 2 concurrent viewers, dude? Fucking drop some chats, bro. Drop some stuff in the old chatty poo. Alright. Error reading file. You dipshit, dude. I see the issue. The column editor props type is incorrect. It expects dispatch, but it should expect a dispatch function that takes actions. Oh. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Damn. I'm a fucking idiot, dude. Now I need to plain text column actions. Yep, that's correct. Okay, now this error should go away. Although I might have to go back to these files and then is there like a reload? Yeah, like that. Okay. Wait, now this is wrong. Oh, right. Okay. Then we have to go to the actual definition of this, and we're going to reload this file too. Now if we go back here, now this one's right. and this is not complaining anymore. All right, bam. So yeah, all the other columns are just going to follow this exact same formula. And we would basically just do like, for each column type, we'll just do the same thing. And then each column type is going to have its own reducer to handle updates there. And yeah, that's pretty straightforward, honestly. Not too much of a fuss. I mean, honestly, I was fucking so scared to do this earlier today because, like, this shit, like, reducers, dude, like, I mean, look, reducers in themselves, it's like, okay, it's decently straightforward, but once you start, like, chaining together multiple types of reducers, like, your brain will fucking explode when your complexity goes up, but it is still 10 times better than using regular use state. And I've never used, like, fucking React's native reducer. I've just used Immer because I heard it's better, but yeah. Actually, ChatGPT told me to use it, so I was like, all right, fine, dude, fuck. So yeah, that looks good. Now we do need, I think the editor for that will probably, yeah, I mean, for the editor, table config, for that, I mean, we're going to need, like, let's just look at some of this stuff and figure out how this is going to work. So create reducers for all column types, create editors for all column types. Now that's the tricky part. Editors requirements. So we need a liquid type safety. Basically, when you're using liquid, we're actually going to use handlebars.js, which, if you don't know about handlebars, oh, for fuck's sakes. Handlebars.js. Basically, handlebars just lets you, let me see, like a demo here. So we would have, like, this would kind of be your, like, syntax. And so we could edit this to be, like, name, and then this would be, like, first, and then this is how I like to kind of set up my objects. And then this, no trailing comma. And then we might do, like, type role admin, and then type user test, whatever. Anyways, so we'd kind of have like a type like that. So this is what you would pass into the parser, and then here we would go like first dot name, and then loud, or this is actually name dot first, and then here it's going to be name dot last. And so now it basically just uses this to parse it out. So we want the user to be able to edit their own kind of syntax here, and then allow the system to basically parse that into the table that it renders out. This is going to be a really sick feature, but there are kind of some constraints here around really like the typing of it, because like it would be like, depending on main entity type from the table, which kind of syntax are you allowed to have? So we might have to like build kind of like a JavaScript object to tell the user like what they can use from that row, or even from like, I guess it would be from that row, basically, to use. Yeah. So, I don't know. That's probably the trickiest part. And then we need like, obviously a UI editor to build this plain input component. And then for building links, yeah, we probably also want to have basically like a link builder that the user can build. The user can build, and so we just need to figure out like how that link builder is actually going to look. Honestly, like the front end stuff is just like way harder than it seems. It's like, you think about it, you're like, oh yeah, just fucking put a form here and there. But it's like, I want to have like, which is weird for a B2B software, by the way, but I like take pride in like how the software looks and feels to use. And so I put a lot of thought into like these design decisions that I think like most B2B softwares, they don't give a fuck, dude. They'll just fucking put a button anywhere and like, oh, fucking looks good to me, you know? Um, but I'm like, it needs to be intuitive, especially because a lot of inquiries can just be like support tickets where someone's like, how do I do this? And it's like, fuck, like I failed as a designer because I didn't make it obvious enough. Like intuitive, even obvious is kind of like, whatever, intuitive is the word that you would probably use, but I didn't make it intuitive enough to do this thing that should be intuitive. So yeah, that's probably, I would say, what you kind of want to watch out for. But yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty decent. We do need to pass in basically the columns probably. One thing we could do is like, let's look at some of the other requirements we're gonna have. So if we go action button, let's see the types here. So this is gonna be, so you could have a custom link. So we'll say for columns, we need these things. And I'll make this a little bigger so you can actually see it. And then for holy fuck. For columns, so action buttons is going to need liquid template builder. And then we also need some sort of like open resource thing. I mean, we don't really need this meeting URL because this will just be a column on the table itself. And if we allow the user to create their own buttons, which we plan to, then they can literally just pass in, then we can just set it up so it like opens the correct URL. The only thing is this might change. Like I think opening a resource makes sense to have as a button, like an internal kind of company resource, because now we can control like where that URL goes with the click of a button or with the push of a deploy rather than having to go fucking migrate every goddamn user's shit. So yeah, we probably have, yeah, we basically need like internal resource decision. Which rows does this work on which columns? And maybe we even just define this in our like internal entities. Maybe define this on the entity JSON. That actually probably makes sense. And then main filter button. So, oh yeah, this one. Yeah, I mean, this one probably isn't that complicated because it's basically like, if this table is this, then set this filter. And then, yeah, that's not too bad. So, yeah, I think this one's basically covered. And then we're going to go look at analysis results. And here we're going to have, okay, for this one, we need the query builder integrated. So we're going to need to, so for AI results, need the query builder, which is, why can't I open this? The query builder is this right here. So this is basically like a filter builder and shit like that. So we're going to need that for this type of column. And then all we really know is like for this column, I guess the system will just know how to display each type basically. That's kind of what we're going to go with here. So this is actually pretty simple because it'll basically be like, what AI result do you want to select? Except like, Yeah, actually, for this row that you're looking at, are there AI results available? I guess that would be a question too, is like, what tables can you have AI results for? So we do like, uh, and we actually don't need a query builder. It would just be show AI results, but it would be like, what tables can actually show AI results? How do we define this? And then for, we'll go back to attributes. For the attributes column, it's going to basically be yeah, should this be like liquid syntax? Either it's liquid syntax or you just kind of like do a multi-select type thing. Maybe the user wants to be able to change the order of how things are actually displayed too. So we'll say attributes liquid template values, and actually this should be not the builder, but we do need the values. The builder might be different in this case, but then it would be like, how can the user change the ordering of their attributes? That's, I mean, we could just have it basically be client-side rendered, you know, take in like a bunch of mustache.js values and then parse it into individual kind of items and then format those. And maybe we even do let the user just like use their own kind of formatting rules, because now you basically create like a listicle format where the value would be, except I guess the difference is you kind of want the value to be able to change depending on, or the label, icon, and color to be able to change depending on the value, you know? But, oh, I guess these would be additional rules to apply to these values. Yeah, okay, gotcha. So then for the values themselves, because something like contact tags, let's see, examples, so we'd say contact tags equals flattened array, and then this is going to be, so we might say contact holy shit, I cannot type, attribution. Oh, and mustache should also pull in, yeah, that's actually tricky, because how do you allow mustache to pull in from base objects? String interpreter needs to be able to pull in from base objects to single hops, single or multi hops. Yeah. But yeah, so it would be contract attribution. This is one tricky one because it might be like contact, like session source equals Facebook or Google or Instagram, whatever. And then, but the user, they want to show this session source, and they might want it to have like a specific icon and color to say like, this is the source. Or in, you know, reality, you would probably just want it to show, you know, this is basically the, you know, like the Google logo or whatever, to show you like this lead came from Google. So that would kind of be like this this stuff down here to show us, what the to be able to direct what the formatting should look like, which means yeah, I don't know. I probably don't need to think about this too hard, because for now it could literally just be like interpret kind of basic lines, and then have the basically interpret the lines. I don't know. I mean, this one's basically, I guess the question is, do we use Mustache.js for this? Probably not, honestly, right? I don't think you need Mustache.js. I think it would basically be like, just kind of choose a bunch of values, and then you just need like a way to order them. Yeah, I think we'll probably just do it that way. We'll just use no mustache. No mustache. But we do need the liquid template valuables, but we're not going to use, or liquid template values, which we'll just parse with mustache, I guess, whatever. But we'll probably parse these on the server instead. And then, yeah, what else do we have? So those are attributes, custom metrics. I don't want to have to deal with those yet. Those are being put off. Then we have detail cards and plain text. So for detail cards, this one's a little bit tricky, because you basically need to be able to join from the current item to this item, probably within one hop. I think one hop is really all we're going to allow for. No, actually, yeah, we basically need like a query builder to be able to say like select appointments where they match, whatever this thing. Appointments. Detail cards. Plain text is pretty simple. This one's just going to be mustache values. So we need these mustache values for a bunch of different things. I mean, liquid sounds so much better. Liquid syntax. Yeah, liquid syntax sounds so much better than fucking Mustache.js. Mustache just refers to, or handlebars, I suppose is what it's actually called, but it just refers to the fucking curly brace like this. That looks like a mustache, I guess. But yeah, for detail cards, honestly, TBD. Like, that's also pretty tricky. So that, and then custom values are or custom metrics. Those are going to be quite tricky. But yeah, I think the plan is plan out requirements for different columns. So that's what we just did. So yeah, then tomorrow I'll probably create those reducers for all the column types, and then the editors also for all of the column types. Hopefully we can get that done. I mean, look, I don't really know if that's at all realistic. Plan out requirements. And then, yeah, here we need create reducers. So I think, yeah, reducers are going to be, they're going to be a right pain in the ass. But maybe not that bad. So yeah, we'll give it like a few hours. And then this is planning. And then we need to create the editors. And look, I mean, this is not even enough time, but it would be amazing to get the editors done. I mean, we're not going to do it. We're not even going to be able to fucking do that. But it would be amazing to get the editors done pretty soon here, because realistically, like, we don't have that much time to do this project. We have to ship custom tables before mid-November. That also involves the new kind of query builder that we were looking at. So this is entirely new, and this is very basic right now. It's literally just like kind of like text comparisons and some date comparisons actually, but we don't have a date field on this fucking table right now, so we need to fill that out. So there's a shit ton of shit to do, and it's like we need to rip through custom tables and get onto the other stuff so that we can start building everything else out. Because yeah. But dude, shout out to Ramon, my client Ramon. I was like, he literally runs a sales organization, and I told him, I was like, bro, I stopped selling for my product because I need to focus on the product. Like, I stopped selling new customers because I realized, like, when you're onboarding new customers constantly, you get a lot of churn because a lot of people kind of either they have the wrong expectations, or I don't know, sometimes honestly I think it's just expectations. Like, either you don't set the right expectations, or they just come in thinking it's going to change their life. When it's an analytics tool, it's probably not going to change your life. And so they come in and then they want to cancel, or they want like a bunch of help setting it up and then they cancel. And so churn has been really high. And yeah, I think, like, you know, Ramon was like, I was like, dude, yeah, I had to turn off my sales because I was just onboarding people all the time, like dealing with support, and it just felt like I was like basically treading water, like going nowhere. And he was like, sometimes you gotta slow down to go fast. Sometimes you gotta slow down to speed up. I was like, you're damn right, Ramon. So the plan is basically do a bunch of these fucking features over the next basically like 3 months, and then once the product is like way more solid than it is right now, like this whole thing is going to look different and be way better. And then once the product is in a much better place, then new website, new automations, new like onboarding stuff, hiring a closer and a support rep, and then cranking the piss out of ads. I think I'm going to start out at like $300 a day in ad spend or something, because we should be able to close like $3K a day in setup fees, add like 30K MRR per month. Like, we could literally scale fucking insane. But it really is like the product that's a huge bottleneck right now. So yeah, anyways, that's the stream. I hope you enjoyed watching me try to learn Helix. I think I got a little better about navigating some of these files up and down. Maybe you saw me do this go to Word thing. This go to Word thing is just like fantastic. It's just like the fastest way to navigate through your file. Because, and then, yeah, like using Control O and I basically lets you go forwards and backwards, which typically that's really all you need. Sometimes there is like a little bit of like, oh, I need to go to this third file, which then you can open your jump list, although that's a little confusing. Or you can do like open the file explorer in the current buffers directory, and then there you're just like in a file explorer, and it's a little bit more manageable. Yeah, but I don't know. I really like Helix. The only thing I would say is it's it doesn't have ESLint built in, so it doesn't automatically remove unused imports. But I think I can fix that with like my TS config or using Prettier or something. And there's no like autocomplete and stuff, but it is like a little bit, it is pretty fun just to like use it this way. And then also you can see I have relative line numbers turned on. So it says like I'm on line 15. So this changes, it goes to, this is the actual line number, but then it tells me this is 15 lines away. So if I want, I can do 15J, and then that just jumps immediately down to, yeah, that is J. and then it just jumps immediately down to whatever line. So I can go 10J, or I meant to go 10K. I just know the feeling on my fingers, but I don't know what the letter actually is. But I can go 6K to jump up, or 6J to jump down, 8J. Yeah, I think I hit 7 there, but you get the idea. Anyways, I'm exhausted. I'm going to go to bed, and thank you for tuning in.